Hello and welcome to London. With me is Pradyot Manikya Dev Barman, the royal scion from Tripura and also the leader of the Tripura Mota Party, a very young but very popular party. We met last year around the same time. A lot has changed in that time. Your party has done extremely well in the election, second largest party, and it's a very, very young party. How did you manage to do that?
No party becomes successful without the love and blessings of the people. We have been sincere in our demand for a constitutional solution, which includes Greater Tripura land, and we have pushed forward for it, and we have not compromised. And I think the people have reposed their faith in us, and it is incumbent on us not to betray our community. So it is very important that we keep on striving for the rights of the indigenous people of Tripura.
But that's not enough for you to get the state party status that you got last year. Congratulations, by the way. You're looking for more fundamental rights.
See, rights, what are the rights? Constitutional rights is a right for dignity, a right for land. Our lands are taken away. It's about our economic rights, it's about our political rights, it's about securing the next generation. And if you want to secure the next generation, you have to stop thinking about us as individuals and think about what the community will remember you as. And if you want to empower the community and the indigenous people of Tripura, then you have to look at long-term solution and not at short-term benefits.
But you've also been quite dissatisfied with your allies over the past few years. Are you making new friends? Is there an alliance with the BJP in the works? I'm sure a lot of people in India are questioning that, so let's take that head on.
I have friends in all parties. I have friends in Congress, I have friends in BJP, I have some friends in the Communists, I have friends in the Shiv Sena, I have friends in all parties. But my point is, if anyone is a friend of my community and is trying to help me, I will talk to them. If they do not help my community, they are not my friends on a political level. I have no allies. I have only support for people who will give my indigenous people support. And I'm being very clear. This is not a fight to save the Constitution of India. This is not a fight to save democracy of India. This is a fight to empower and secure the future of the indigenous people of Tripura and the indigenous people of Northeast. So I have a personal ideology, but I will not impose my personal ideology on the people who are suffering right now, who don't have drinking water, who are told to write exams in a script that they don't want to write in, where people die of malaria in this day and age, where there is no development, where the autonomous councils get no money till we beg to the state government to give us some. So no, we will to keep on doing what we have to, and the narrative of New Delhi or the narrative of rest of India does not matter to me. What matters to me is what I can give the indigenous people of Tripura.
And you're talking about narratives, and you've been quite displeased with the mainstream narrative about the Northeast as a whole, but very recently with the Manipur violence. There's the narrative that you say that the mainstream media peddles is not true. So being someone from the region, give us the
First of all,
correct narrative.
it is not a violence between Christians and non-Christians or Hindus. And it's not a tribal, non-tribal violence. The people of the Meiteis are also son of the soil, and so are the Kukis, and so are the Nagas in Manipur. The portrayal that Manipur is burning because of tribal, non-tribal is incorrect. It is basically the problem is about land. Second thing is they've completely made it, I saw a tweet by some gentleman sitting in Switzerland. He's a left-winger saying, misrepresenting what is happening in Manipur. The problem of Manipur is local. And I would appeal to my Manipuri brothers and sisters, which includes the Meiteis and the Kukis and also the Nagas. Ask your MLAs and ministers what they're doing, rather than fighting with each other, burning each other's properties, burning temples and churches, because that is actually fragmenting the unity of our region. All this can be handled. There are politicians behind this, and this can be stopped if you stop those political leaders.
Talking about the people of Manipur, you very recently managed to bring 50 students from Tripura who are studying in Manipur back at your own personal expense, and that's a wonderful gesture. But there are thousands displaced in Manipur who are living in camps, who are not in their homes because either they're burnt or they are unsafe. They might be looking to seek refuge in other states around it, either temporarily or permanently. Is this something that needs to be had a conversation about?
The displaced people are the Kukis who are living in the valley, or the Meiteis who are living near about Churachandpur and that area. I'm sure if the politicians are questioned, they will rehabilitate the people where they were staying. Regarding me bringing 50 students back from Imphal to Tripura, do you know I was given donations by the common people of Tripura, because we were not funded by BJP or by the Congress. They gave me 500, 1000, 2000, 5000. People donated for my fight in this election. And if I can't get 50 people back from my own money, then what have I done? They helped me in my bad times. So why can't I help my people in their bad times? I have not done any service. What I did was required and necessary for any person who has a conscience. मेरे खराब टाइम में वो उन्होंने मुझे हेल्प किया. You know, I went to a village. किसी ने मुझे 100 रुपया दिया, किसी ने 20 रुपया दिया, and I got over 1 crore, and I spent that during the election. So today, if I can get 50 people back, why 50? 100, 150, I will do it.
And it's amazing because you come from the royal family, and yet you don't seem to find that class bridge between the people of your state and you.
See, where I was born was not my choice. But the community I want to work for is entirely my choice. And who says that the royal families were are distant? My grandfather, Maharaja Bir Bikram, really worked for our people. Today, the land reserve in Tripura is because of Maharaja Bir Bikram's contribution. And he helped everyone, whether it was Tagore, whether it was Jagdish Chandra Bose, whether it was making the airport, whether it was making the colleges or the institutions. So my grandmother did a lot, my father did a lot, and my job is that I studied and I lived post-independence. I do not have any chip on my shoulder.
Right.
What I do want is my people to remember that this person did something, and I want a good name, and a good name will not come from where you were born, but what you do.
And talking about the Northeast, how fundamental it is for the people within the Northeast to rise up and take very important decisions about Northeast and not have the central government in Delhi intervene or interrupt things that might lead to progression in Northeast.
I think the most important part is corruption. If our leaders show a bit more spine, I do know that we need to be heavily dependent on the government of India for funds, but if we can actually show a bit more integrity and stand up for our communities, irrespective of parties, then even center will take us seriously. And I think it is possible, but what we need is good quality leaders, a bit more character, and a bit more values. What we have created is netas. What we have created is, Rajniti. What we want is Kajniti. And that can only come when you have a certain sense of consciousness that if I do something wrong, how will my society judge me? The problem is that society sometimes listens more to politicians, while actually society should be dictating to the politicians what it requires.
And one of the things that is often spoken about, border states and Northeast, because it's very far from
Myanmar,
India,
Bangladesh.
connected by a chicken's neck, as you also often say. That there's a threat of outside intervention, outside influence, and with this outside I mean other countries or other leaders, other ideologies. You also probably feel that when you come to a different country and talk about India, that you automatically get accused of being in cahoots with other governments. Is this something that India has to get over and start looking at voices within India or Indians in any part of the world as something that's fundamental to India's own development and democracy?
What is India? India is not a living. India is made up of its people. right? So if you want Northeast to be protected and secured, first of all, it cannot just happen in policy. It also has to happen from your heart. Many times our students go and they are called Chinese, Chinky. During COVID time, many of our students were targeted because they thought that Corona was a Chinese disease. Some people call us Bahadur. In fact, even Nepalis are targeted. So first of all, accept the people of India, irrespective of how they look. Just because we can't speak a certain language does not mean we are inferior. Just because our food smells according to them does not mean that our food is not tasty. Stop judging, and automatically, fundamentally, you would have brought two parts of India closer to each other. Second thing, chicken's neck. Why? Lakshadweep and Andamans is not even connected with India, but they're okay. Eventually, it is about winning the hearts and minds of the people. You win over the people of Northeast. Let China come, nothing will happen. Let Myanmar do whatever, nothing will happen. Let Bangladesh send its infiltration, we will stop the infiltration. The fact is, India is and has to and is now. You can see that happening, winning over the hearts and minds of the people. But what you need is a sustained effort. Don't try to tinkle with our customs, our language, our food, our social structure, and we will coexist very well with our fellow brothers and sisters of India.
Let's talk about election 2024. And there are critics in India and elsewhere that also say that the Manipur violence has a direct correlation to what might happen in election 2024. Do you see this sort of play out towards...
It's one seat in Outer Manipur, because there are two seats in Manipur. So it's one seat. It will. What will happen in Tripura? What will happen in Manipur will not decide the fate of the nation.
It will not spread to other parts of Northeast. It will be fairly contained.
It will largely affect the tribal areas or Imphal Valley. But what you need to worry more, stop looking at Northeast and commenting about the violence. Start looking at what's happening in Uttar Pradesh. Start looking and seeing what's happening in Bengal. Start looking at Bihar. Violence there is far more spread. Violence there is perpetuated at times by cops, at times by goons, at times on the basis of religion. You know, religious violence takes more place in parts of North India than our part, but we are given the highlight. There's no such tension between the Christians and non-Christians. There is no problem. We will contain it. It is an internal problem. We will contain it. We also know who is behind this violence. There are forces who are not Kuki and not Meitei, but political forces behind this.
So this is a political manual.
This is polarization which has happened before. It happened in 1992 also. And this is done. We, the people, whether it is the Kukis or the Meiteis or the Nagas or the Tiprasas or the Khasis, Garos, Jaintiyas, Mizos, Mars, the Bodos, the Kacharis, the Arunachalis need to realize that if we unite, we will prosper. But if we keep on fighting amongst ourselves, then that excuse will be taken for us being disturbed, and they will use that and not allow us to develop.
So a united front is what the Northeast has to do to change the narrative about them in the rest of the country and perhaps the rest of the world. Thank you so much, Pradyot, for talking to us and giving us an insight into a region that is much neglected by India itself, a part of India, but a region that we don't talk much about, and when we do, we often associate it with negative connotations. But the Northeast now wants to come back into play, but as something that is what it really is, a unifying force, a region that is ready for more development, ready for investment, ready to leave its mark on India. This is Ruhi Khan in London for Mojo Story.
We started Mojo right here in this basement. Just 4 people, 4. And now we're about to hit our first 1 million subscribers. So this is to say thank you to all of you for your support, for your respect, and for your encouragement. We've always gone to where the story is. During the pandemic, when television's big anchors were hunkered down in their studios or at their homes, we hit the road. We traveled from Delhi to Kerala, covering 30,000 kilometers in a small car, reporting from inside ICUs and inside slum tenements. Whether it's flash floods or war zones, we've always put our boots on the ground. In fact, we're just back from Punjab, tailing the Khalistani fugitive Amritpal Singh. And through all of this, we have always put you, the people, first. In an age of partisan polarized media where most journalists are either chamcha ya morcha, we believe the story is sacred and the truth of the story is what matters. And now as we get ready for the next step, we need your help. Become a Mojo member and get first access to all our big interviews. Get a chance to ask our newsmakers questions. Get a chance to write and report for us for both our website and our channels. And also, interact with me and my colleagues directly through AMA sessions. Literally, ask me anything. Click on the join now right next to the subscribe button, and yes, also subscribe if you haven't yet, and become a Mojo member for just 159 rupees a month. Hope to see lots of you in our community. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.